Can you see this?
Yes.
Okay, great. So nurturing the brain is 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 the theme of the topic today. Now, why nurture brain? That's the question. I mean, anybody should ask this question. In the like very briefly, I will talk about less better than what Shruti ji has said. Shruti ji has said such terrific, beautifully. She has uh, summarized it. So, in the previous class, we have talked about pranayama is awareful breathing, awareful with inhalation, hold, exhalation, and hold. I mean that uh, whenever you pause or be aware of the inner and outer kumbhak, automatically the entire breathing becomes pranayam, because you start to become aware of your breathing. Only then it becomes pranayam. Otherwise, it is shwasayam, right? And now, as we know that, so when you do the Ujjayi breathing, whenever you're doing pranayam, it's always beneficial to do Ujjayi, because Ujjayi in the from the throat area, it activates the five physiological functions called pancha prana through the five receptors here in the medulla oblongata and pons area. So, but the thing is, the pancha pranas function through the brain, right? So, so breathing definitely does help, or awareful breathing does help, which means pranayam does help activate the brain. But is there any other way of doing the same thing? Hence, the idea of nurturing the brain comes. Hence, nurture the brain. Now, why nurture the brain? So there are two. Sujna will definitely agree with my idea. Here is that There are two things. One is pathogenesis. Another is salutogenesis. Pathogenesis is a diseased state, and salutogenesis is a blissful state. Right. So let's say this is your life, and life has always some kind of a stress, no matter what, where you are. If they said the just like the life is born to trouble as sparks to fly upwards. That's a saying, right? So so you will experience some kind of a stress in life. For instance, this one. So this particular ball falls on your life, which is going very nicely. You see these children sweetly hanging around their grandparents lap, and suddenly this happens. They go become teenagers, and they become 21, 25, 30 years old, and suddenly some stuff happen. Job loss, some loss happens, and then there is a tense feeling. Then the breakdown and deviation from the self. Self means your true essential nature. Any stress is nothing but whenever we are creating a polarity between what we are and what we are not. We are basically becoming hypocritical, which means we project what we are not. That is hypocrisy, right? That is exactly what it is. We are the Sat Chit Anand Swarup, right? But we are not established in ourself, and that is exactly what swasthya means. Swasthya is swa, to be established in self. Swasthya means swa mein sthit ho jana. So to be established in yourself is swasthya, health, perfect health. But whenever this stress happens, you are breaking down from whatever is from yourself, and you are getting uh, away from yourself. That is exactly what happened. Now, this leads to disease pathogenesis, showing symptoms of ill health, right? Aswastha. Aswasth means that which is not established in self now. And then negative health happen. Now, our goal is to how to eradicate, or how to lessen the tense feeling that despite the stress. That is the goal. Despite stress, how can we still stay equanimous or sthita pragya? That is the goal, right? And that is how blissful living or salutogenesis happens, which gives positive health. So that is the whole essence of today's talk. Now, uh, Sujna will definitely love this figure. Now, there is, how do your body assess stress, experience stress, or register stress in our system? There is a region in the brain called hypothalamus, right? Just above the pituitary, in the soft part of the of when you do khechari mudra, twist your tongue behind. That soft part up there, just above that is pituitary, and within few millimeters above that is hypothalamus. Now, hypothalamus releases some kind of a hormone. Don't worry about the complicated nature of this diagram. All I'm telling you is hypothalamus. There is a region in the brain which sends a signal to the anterior pituitary, which means just below that, and then that particular pituitary releases some hormone which goes inside the blood and activates the adrenal cortex to release cortisol. Cortisol is a stress hormone. Fear, flight, whenever suppose you are going in your home and suddenly you see a snake. So that particular thing that goes in your that butterfly feeling in your stomach whenever you have exams, right? So that is exactly what cortisol is all about. It causes you to become so alert and aware, very alert and aware. It's not a bad thing. Let me tell you, this is a life saving mechanism in our body. It helps you save your life. But if it is constant, to save your life, you have to do what? You have to run, you have to climb the tree, you have to do something very intense. Then only this cortisol gets eliminated from your system. But if you are just sitting there, let's say, for instance, these days, job stress, layoff is going on, market crash happens, all this and that is happening. That is causing a tremendous stress. The stress means fear of death. Basically, all the stress is, how do I, what will happen to me? What will happen to my loved ones if dash, 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 whatever you can call it. If I lose my job, if I die, if my health is bad, what will happen? This kind of us, this is, but you don't do anything. You sit there, brood over what the stress is all about. You cannot do much about it because you do all the time work on the basically with your on your computer. So there is no running going on there. So that's why it is important for us to do those yogasans and pranayam and yogasans especially. That will take care of this cortisol and eliminate it from your system. Now, this entire cortisol causes the flight and fight response. This fight and flight response basically is what stress is, fear and stress is low frequency emotion, which increases cortisol. The first target of increased cortisol is immune system. Immune system is nothing but our soldiers in our body, the entire army which protects the enemy from outside. If this is immune system is impaired, the body is porous to outside elements. Like for instance, germs, bacteria, all that they are all over us. Everywhere there is bacteria, germs which can kill us instantly. Let me tell you, if we do not have a good immune system. So if we have a good immune system, we can tackle them. In the event it is not, then how does that impaired immune system work? It causes inflammation, which leads to metabolic disorder, neuropsychiatric disorder, anxiety, depression, neurodegenerative disorders, cancer, cardiac. I did not write cancer. Cancer is also one of the major inflammatory disease that is happening in most people right now. Uh, Depression is pandemic quality at this point in time in life in the world. Not, we thought that India is safe from depression. No, it is not. It is also happening there, big time. So autoimmune dysfunction, our own body fights against itself, which means type 2 diabetes and or arthritis, all this and that is going on right now. With So this is the real thing. How do you handle that? That's why the brain, we need to nurture the brain properly. Now, I just want to share with you this particular. So, Shambhavi, Khechari, and Brahmari and Pranayam basically are tackling this brain, basically. But there is additional mechanism which can also, if we do this plus Yogasana and Pranayam together, of course, all the Yogasana must be done with Ujjayi Pranayam and Bandhas. Remember that. So if you do this, then what happened? I remember last time, I think first time itself, I told you about what is a chakra. I just want to give you a brief thing. Chakras are nothing but this, nothing like Sudarshan chakra of Sri Krishna. That's not how it is. Right? I mean, chakra they call it because it is the energy center. That's why they call it chakra. But neurons, if they assemble together, they form ganglion, right? And if ganglions assemble together, then they form plexus. Plexus is the name of chakra, which is a real action potential, or you can say energy center, which is hub for lot of neurons getting in place and active and firing together. So they call it the neurons that fire together, wire together. So that's exactly how it is. So when Muladhara chakra at the lowest of the chakra or the plexus get activated, it activates the prefrontal cortex here, frontal lobe, right? If the Swadhisthana chakra gets activated, becomes the motor neurons, motor center here. Manipura chakra gets on the top here. Anahat chakra gets in around here, midbrain and the occipital lobe. So Vishuddhi chakra gets occipital. So these are different chakras which gets activated when you do the right yogasana. There are all of these specific, very targeted uh, yogasans are there. Uh, Sujna will definitely. She is doing the training of yogasan, upayoga and all that. So she will know that when you do the butterfly one, butterfly chakra yogasan, or even to malasan and even what you call um, shishupalasan. These are the ones which activate Muladhara chakra, Swadhisthana chakra, and of course, Anjaneya asana and other asanas are for Manipura chakra and Anat chakra, Vishuddhi chakra. These are different chakras. Kriya especially, like for instance, Kriya Yoga of Paramahansa Yogananda and all that. Those are the ones which actually activated three powerful chakras, initial chakra, Muladhara chakra, Manipura chakra, and Vishuddhi chakra. These three, which after that the entire brain gets fired up and ready to, because there are latent centers in the brain which are still sleeping. Nobody knows about their function. But once you do this, there is a higher awareness, very high awareness, so that you don't see nothing comes as a surprise if you are highly aware, right? Surprise happens to you when suddenly things happen. Like say, if the snake, if your ears are so tuned that you can sense the snake walking in the on the ground with hustling of the leaves, you will know that you are not going to be surprised by its presence when it comes close to you. You know that is the kind of surprise I'm sort of. Whenever we are, but if the snake suddenly shows up, you are stressed. So if we are, the reason why we have to have this higher level of awareness in our brain is to even to see a challenge that might happen 1 month later or a year later. You are so aware, you will know what all even if health wise also, what are the small, very subtle changes in your, let's say, the way you are getting up, or even in the color of your urine. you can know what is going wrong with you right there, and you can sense it. And no, no, I think that there is something right, not right, right here. So this is what the rishis of the past knew what was the problem with you. Though you walk in and they know exactly what is the problem, because that kind of a tuning they have for the other people. So this is exactly what these different chakras are there. So I shall revisit this slide again in my other talks. So I'll just skip this for the time being. There are different energy centers and different energy. Uh, let's say we say lam, this kind of thing. You say this kind of energy gets this chakra gets activated by that kind of a chanting. Vam, vam, vam. This can also activate the Swadhisthana chakra. Rang, rang. There are some mantras. Om, rang, Ramaya Namah. Ram is Vishnu chakra there. This is Vishnu Granthi, right? Manipura chakra. This is the my father was master at these things, and he said that if you activate, you don't even have to activate all of the chakras. If you can activate just the Manipura chakra, two chakras below and two chakras above get activated on its own, because it sends those signals. And I had no idea why is he saying that. Now I know. That's what we will discuss today. What is Manipura chakra and how this can get once this get activated, it can also activate Agya chakra also. This why Vishuddhi chakra plus Agya chakra also it does that. So yang is the heart chakra, hung is the when you say hung Hanumate Nama, hung H pronunciation. This is what activates the throat chakra also. And Om, of course, Om chanting, you must have heard of Om chanting, lot of Om chanting in various YouTube videos. There are very beautiful chanting of various people who are doing the constant Om, 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 Om. If you keep chanting that, this Agnya chakra gets activated. And of course, Sahasra chakra, you don't need to worry about it. It gets activated because you have done the homework here, and the Lord, in its infinite mercy and compassion, activates your crown chakra. Now, these are the different bandhas for effective Surya Namaskar. I would just revisit this because a very important slide to. So, most people do not understand the importance of the bandhas and the ujjayi in doing the postures, in doing the asanas. So this is very important. Whenever you are doing any asana, even if it is Kriya Yoga asana, there are lots of asanas in Kriya Yoga. Always do the bandhas and the pranic breathing, which is Ujjayi breathing. So that's what I just want to share with you. Last time I did share this slide, I think, where Brahmari Pranayam we talked about, and it activates this particular middle temporal gyrus Broadman area 21 here, just right here, just next to the. So this is the outside one. If you go deep inside, you will find that there are some new neuroblast cells, you can call it, coming directly from stem cell. They're ready to move on to become neuron in different parts of the brain wherever it is required. So that is how the brain can create new neurogenesis after Brahmari Pranayama. So I'm just going to. There is a lab in Japan which has done a tremendous, very heavy duty work on pranayam, Brahmari Pranayam, and they are they. Later on I found out this lab has created during this COVID time this Brahmari Pranayam center where after doing this Brahmari Pranayam, none of the people in the area ever got any viral attack on them. They never got COVID ever, and they are the ones who were. And as you might also know, that Sadhguru in Coimbatore, his entire volunteer group of people went all over in the villages, and where there were no hospital, not much of this thing, and they help them with Brahmari Pranayam along with Yogasan, this Upayoga, especially for beginners, free of cost. They are doing it to them, and none of them ever got sick ever. That is amazing. And they were all the time with them. And neither those people, those volunteers ever got sick, nor those people who ever were treated with this. Now they are constantly doing it to make the body become better and better. The humming part of this part, this that type of a humming that goes in Brahmari Prana, you can do different intonations also. You can do sa re ga ma pa da ni sa. This intonations you can do while saying the M part of the Om. This kind of a thing in different seven different kinds, in seven different uh, times of breathing, that or the humming that you do, the Brahmari you do. Nitric oxide increase happens. Very Nitric oxide is a very powerful neurotransmitter, and it is, now we'll talk about how it is neurotransmitter is generated in our body. Afterwards I will talk to you about that. Without the humming, this is the neurotransmitter level in the brain. With humming, this becomes increased. So whenever there is a neurotransmitter, there is always activation through its receptor. And the more the activation happens in the brain, the more the wiring happens in the brain. So there is always a wear and tear going on in the brain. Use and disuse, lack of use also can cause the neural connections to dissociate and die. The more the activation, the better it is. Now, humming greatly increases. There is a report all over the world. Gradually, eventually, they will figure it out. Now, what all places nitric oxide is produced most is in the endothelial cell. This part of this red cells. These are the ones which causes the maximum increase in this neurotransmitter level. Sorry, not the red cell, the blue cell. This is a smooth cell. This is the blue cells, which is very lining the lumen of this blood vessel. This is the blood vessel. If you can, this is just cut into half so that you can see what it is. Next place where nitric oxide is produced most is in the macrophages. Now, macrophages are the ones who can engulf live bacteria in the, if it somehow finds a way into your bloodstream, it's gone. Because nitric oxide, we have done this particular work in our lab itself. We know what that is. The nitric oxide, if you put in femtomole quantities in the culture dishes, and you put bacteria and macrophages there, I mean, bacteria die immediately with nitric oxide. They don't stay there. Immediately a hole is formed in that culture dish. And the third place where it forms is neurons. Tremendous amount of neurons, the nitric oxide forms, and they form connections, synaptic terminals, and all that stuff happens here. Now, immunity, yes, the role in immunity, that is exactly what I was headed towards. So, tumor immunomodulation, inflammation, microbial, and tumor eradication, these things are the ones which nitric oxide does. Nitric oxide is coming from arginine, from what we eat. Arginine is an amino acid in the protein, right? Whatever protein we eat, there is a lot of amino acids, especially the plant protein. Plant protein are rich in amino acid called arginine, and that arginine is what makes becomes a substrate of gut bacteria. Gut bacteria acts on arginine to produce nitric oxide, and that is exactly how the gut and the brain axis was discovered. So I'll talk about that a little later. There is another aspect of how do you activate your brain is through um, super brain yoga, which is basically called Topu Karanakam, a reverential practice by the Hindus in front of Lord Ganesha. So what you do is you hold your earlobe with opposite hands. So the left earlobe will be held by the right hand, and the right earlobe will be held by the left hand, and you pull it real good. That is the play. We used to become murga in our class. When we were mischievous, our teacher used to tell us to do this. We did not know that this is basically in a is basically once it does this, what happens is this right brain, the right earlobe, when you pull it real good, it activates the left part of the brain, the left hemisphere, and the left earlobe that you pull activate the right hemisphere. So when both this actually is happening, then equanimous happens. When both the left and the right brain are activated properly, and the corpus callosum, the one which connects the left and the right brain, they talk to each other nicely. Now you have better focus than it was earlier. Even for Alzheimer's patient, autism patient are doing this right now in several parts of United States. So now it has been shown to produce better grades in class if you do Thopukarnam every day. Now this practice has got uh, destroyed by the left, by the communists in South India, and I have no remorse saying that they have destroyed this practice. And of course parents also somehow got sucked into this nonsense, and they stopped doing this Topukaranakam at home with the children. It's very important to do that, I think, and bowing down to your parents and bowing down your forehead to the floor of the deity that you have at home and to your parents will will lead a long way in a healthy and a very high spiritual growth. This is a part of the thing that you see that this particular area, earlobe, has all the fantastic things. Pituitary is there, and brain is there, upper palate is there, tongue is there, all this particular area, there are the pressure points here which are activated by pulling the earlobe. Now, how does Thopu Karanakam or super brain yoga work? This actually synchronizing the left and the right brain. This is exactly what I was telling you. Now, I was talking about the vagus nerve. Um, sorry, the Manipura chakra. Once it gets activated, it can tackle the entire all the chakras. All you do is just one focus on one chakra, and that is Manipura chakra, and everything is taken care of. You take care of the Manipura chakra, and it takes care of the whole body properly. So this is the vagus nerve. It is a 10th cranial nerve. It starts all the way. The reason why it got the name vagus is because it was what you call vagabond, right? Everywhere. It is everywhere. Wherever you, okay, heart, yes. Brain, yes. Liver, yes. Everywhere it is. Now the beauty of this the nerve is there are two types of nerve system in our sensory nerve system and the motor nerve system. Sensory nerve system is that which goes from all parts of the body into the spinal cord and into the brain, right? One way traffic. Signal from all over the part of the body goes through them and assemble them in the sensory uh, part of the spinal cord, the dorsal spinal cord, and that will send the signal into the brain sensory cortex, right? Yeah, just above the top of the head, just little bit. Now, when the motor one is from the front part of the brain all the way to the muscles, so that is the motor part. So anything movement happens because of the motor nerves, and the sensing happens by the sensory part of the brain and sensory nerve. But vagus nerve has bidirectional. That is something wonderful. Now it does not have to do, has no role in spinal cord. It is free floating outside, not the spinal cord. Spinal cord is taken care of by sensory nerve and the motor nerve. But vagus nerve is hanging around just like that all over. So it sends 80%, it sends 10% signal from the brain to the rest of the part of the body, but 90% signal to the brain from the rest of the part of the body. So this is how it is done. Now this is your vagus, this is your Manipura chakra. This is just a small this thing. So you can understand how vital and prominent this is. So and now what happens is whenever there is activation from of this vagus nerve, it goes into this nucleus tractus solitarius. Don't worry about the name complicated. Just assume that you know the names. Okay. Now this particular once it goes inside this, it activates pretty much everything. Prefrontal cortex and all that stuff. I don't want to discuss the name because they are too complex. So just suffice to say that once you activate your vagus nerve or the Manipura chakra, basically, you saw the how this is so concentrated around here. It's amazing. This is Manipura chakra actually. Okay. So if you activate your Manipura chakra properly, it can activate you. This is what the gut feeling was all about. Remember, gut feeling is having the brain in your gut without the logical screen. Brain thinks too much. It can doubt, but gut does not doubt. Gut just does the job well, and that's why intuition happens in the gut, and then it relays it to the brain to take action. That's why it is the brain thinks that it is the big boss. No, it is not. Manipura chakra is the big boss. That is exactly where we are connected. We were connected to our mother through umbilical cord. So this is how it is. And remember when I told you last time that um, uh, how do you do the Brahmari pranayam? Brahmari pranayam, you put your the middle finger touching your eye and pressing it eyeball little slightly, index finger above your eyebrow, the ring finger just below the nose right here, and the upper lip and the lower lip. So these are the different kinds of vagus nerve network that is you are activating using the 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 you can do Brahmari without doing the you can do that also will do. But if you do Brahmari with after activating these nerve terminals of vagus nerve, then it is even much better. So that's how it is. So I'll just right now I can oops, okay.